Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dear Dream Diary with your host, Ashley. This is episode 8. On today's episode, I'm not going to have a dream. I'm not going to read a dream. I just wanted to have like an open talk discussion kind of about all these weird situations that have been happening to me. And I know I've already recapped the sleep cycles and lucid dreaming information I have, but we're going to kind of recap that. And then I have some information that I actually learned just before my last episode's recording. And again, I'm recording these back to back. I literally just finished recording the other episode and I'm recording this episode. I felt like I needed to do this because I missed a week. And yeah, I just have a lot to kind of recap. So first, with the sleep cycles, again, folks, we need to have a proper sleeping schedule, a proper routine sleeping habit in order to maintain proper functions in our daily life, in our waking daily life, not even in our dream life, but in our waking daily life. I can't tell you how important that is. And this spiritual journey that I'm on and this knowledge I'm gaining and everything I'm learning, that is one of the main factors that I have learned, that sleep is very important. And also, again, I have been diagnosed with a sleep disorder, severe hypersomnolence. Somnolence, I can never say that. It is type 2 narcolepsy. So anytime like I did my own personal research, the two are linked together. I actually just had a follow-up appointment yesterday with my sleep doctor, and they link the two together, like type 2 narcolepsy and severe hypersomnolence. And we kind of discussed, my symptoms that I'm having, and it's kind of up and down right now. And we were talking about dreams and vivid dreaming, and that's one of the symptoms with sleep disorders is vivid dreams. And then the sleep doctor mentioned that what am I trying to say here? I lost my train of thought. Happens to the best of us all the time. The sleep doctor also mentioned that even though I have a sleep disorder where I am tired all the time, one of the most common things is disruptive sleep at nighttime. And I find that my sleep is very disruptive, especially the other night. I know that I said I wasn't going to read a dream, and I'm not reading from my dream diary, but I'm going to discuss the one dream that I had the other night before I get into all my other topics. It's very short, not reading from my dream diary here, but I had a dream that I was delivering mail, and I went down these 3 stairs. This house was a very large house, and I went down these 3 stairs to get to like the walkway that leads to the back area where the mailbox is. And it was like about 100-foot walk from the stairs to the back area where the mailbox was. And there was also another set of stairs that I had to go up to get to this mailbox. And when I put the mail in the mailbox, all of a sudden, I got a sense of feeling that I was not welcome there. And then I heard very loud footsteps, and I started walking really fast away from this house. And at some point between the mailbox and the other set of stairs that I had to get up to, like to leave the area, halfway through, I stopped and I looked back, and there was a balcony, and on the balcony there was this black shadow human-shaped figure, and I could sense the anger and it telling me to leave and I'm not welcome here. And then I turned back around and I started running towards the stairs to get out of the area. And it was kind of like a scene from the movies when people are going in a wormhole and everything starts tunneling out. And That's what it looked like. And I jumped myself awake. And I remember feeling nauseous, very scared. My heart was racing and I had a hard time getting back to sleep. And it was just a very, very weird dream. I know I have weird dreams all the time, but the feeling that I felt after that dream of being nauseous and how the dream, like that tunneling feeling, was like my subconscious mind was pushing me awake as fast as it could possibly push me awake. And I have so many different thoughts about that dream. Like maybe I was traveling to a dimension that I wasn't welcome to. And I know that night before I went to sleep, I was trying my different lucid dreaming rituals. And one of the things I was saying to myself, I am going to lucid dream tonight. I am going to know that I'm dreaming. I am going to lucid dream. And I kept saying that to myself over and over again because I've been wanting to lucid dream. I'm at the point of where I have good dream recall. I have so many dreams written down. And the next step is to know that you're dreaming. And I'm not there yet. So I set that little affirmation or ritual before bedtime. And then I had that really weird dream. So my thoughts are that I either went to a different dimension that I was not welcome in, and my subconscious mind pushed me awake as fast as it possibly could in order to get me out of that situation. Or maybe that was my subconscious mind telling me I'm not quite ready yet to have lucid dreams. I need to do more soul searching and more information, and not really quite there yet to have lucid dreams. I don't really know what that dream means, but I do know the feeling I felt. And again, I felt nauseous. I felt dizzy. I was having a hard time getting back to sleep. And then even when I did fall back asleep, I kept jumping awake because I had like that anxiety from the dream with me. I did have multiple other dreams that night too. I don't write down all of my dreams every night because I would have at least 4 or 5 and I'd have to have multiple books here. But I usually write down dreams that kind of stand out to me, or that I know would be good content, or that somebody might want to hear or listen to it. But yeah, so that was kind of my dream the other night. I didn't want to do a whole titled episode on it. I just wanted to include it in this information open talk session. And then again, going back to lucid dreaming, I know we talked about how important the sleep is. We need to go through all of our sleep cycles, which is, 3 cycles of non-REM sleep and then our REM sleep. Our body needs that. It's very important. And we need to get at least 4 or 5 cycles per night. And then with the lucid dreaming, if you're trying to have lucid dreams, you need to have good dream recall. That includes having that good sleep pattern, keeping a dream diary, and being able to recall at least 1 or 2 dreams per night. And having the ability to lucid dream comes with the ability to heal yourself and manifest things internally and bring them forth externally. So that's why I'm trying to get to lucid dreaming. I don't know if I've ever answered that question, but the reason why I'm trying to lucid dream is to be able to subconsciously manifest things and make them happen internally and bring them forth externally. And then also, the more you know yourself internally, the more you're in touch with your higher consciousness. And that's where I'm trying to go. That's where I want to be, is I want to be fully in touch with my higher consciousness, my inner self, my subconscious mind, everything that is within inside us, I want to be in touch with. And doing all this research and knowing there's some interesting things that have been happening. I know a little while back, before I got really deep into this research, I had some intuitional situations happen. I don't know if I talked about them on my podcast yet. I don't think I have. But if I have, I'm just going to recap them anyways. So a little while back, I was in a Tim Hortons drive-thru, And for those of my lovely listeners that are not Canadian, a Tim Hortons is a Canadian coffee shop. It's actually a huge Canadian staple. So I ordered my coffee through the drive-thru, and immediately after I ordered my coffee, internally, with my inner voice, I said, the person in front of me is going to pay for my coffee. And externally, with my conscious voice, I said, that's ridiculous. Why would anybody pay for my coffee? And then they did pay for my coffee. So it was really weird because I was battling with my inner self and my conscious outer self. And my inner self knew what was going to happen. So if I could have just listened to that inner voice. Happens a lot, actually. I don't know that my inner voice is saying things that are sensible. So that's, I'm kind of there, like not understanding or knowing what is, or what are things that are actually going to happen. But yeah, so after the Tim Hortons thing happened, a little bit later on, I think a few days later, actually, I was at a grocery store, and out of my peripheral vision, I seen somebody holding flowers. And with my inner voice, I said, that person is going to pay for my flowers. And externally, with my conscious voice, I said, that's ridiculous. Those flowers are obviously for his girlfriend or somebody he knows, a family member, definitely not for a complete stranger. So I went to cash out, paid for my items, went to my car, loaded my car up, got in the car, and I get really anxious in this specific parking lot because I had an incident that happened a few years back, which I'll talk about that on a different episode. But I typically like to get in there and get out as fast as possible. I don't like to linger, especially at nighttime in this parking lot. But shortly, like a few seconds after I got into my driver's seat, I seen movement, like a car pulling up out of my peripheral vision on the left-hand side. And I looked, and this guy is holding the flowers outside of his window. So I unrolled my window, and I get really awkward in situations when people like give me compliments or do kind gestures. Like I never know how to receive that type of energy. So I'll do awkward things and react in the most awkward way possible. So I unrolled my window, and instead of, being thankful or whatnot, because as soon as I unrolled my window, the guy's like, just want to let you know these flowers are for you. I don't know what you're going through in life, but I hope these flowers put a smile on your face. And again, with my awkward self, instead of saying like, oh, thank you, I really appreciate that, I needed that in this moment, I interrogate the guy. I'm like, oh, why are you doing this? And he's like, I just like to do random acts of kindness. It's what I do. And then I said, oh, okay, well, can I give you a hug? And he said, I don't do these gestures in hopes of receiving anything in return. And I told him, I said, well, I need to, I feel like I need to give you a hug. And he pulled up pretty close to me, and he got out of his car first. So I'm trying to open my car door, and there's not a lot of space. And I have stuff in like the side pocket of my car door. It's like an emergency kit if I get stuck or into an accident or whatever. So I'm trying to open the door, and I knock this emergency kit out, and stuff's falling everywhere. And I'm just like reacting so quickly, like nervously and quickly. And then I give him a hug, and I say thank you. And he gets in his car, and I'm trying to pick everything up off the ground and maintain like composure. There's no composure for me whatsoever, especially in situations like that. But it was just weird because, again, my inner voice told me that those flowers were for me. And then my conscious external voice said, no, that doesn't make sense. Those aren't for you. And I also really appreciated that gesture. It was very, very kind, and it really made my day. I remember telling everybody about it, like all my friends, all my coworkers, all my family. I told everybody about it. I even posted it in where I'm from. It's called Car Spotters Group, and this group is so full of drama. I don't even know why I'm there anymore, but so I posted it in that group in hopes that it would reach that person again, because in my mind, I feel like I said thank you, but I really don't know if I did. I think I just reacted so awkwardly and quickly that maybe I actually didn't say thank you. So I posted it in this group and wanted to reach out to that person and say thank you and make sure that I knew that I said thank you. It's just really interesting situation and scenarios. And then I have a couple more things kind of like that happened. So I was working the other day delivering mail, and I'm delivering mail to these huge medical buildings, and it's a walkthrough. So I have to go to each doctor's office, and each doctor's office has like the first initial door you walk into, and then you're walking into the waiting room. And typically there's like the receptionist little window that you go to. But some of these doctors' offices don't have those reception windows. So you walk into a door, you see the waiting room, and then there's another door you walk in. And I wanted to make sure that everybody got their mail because, potential strike happening and whatnot. I don't even think I should be talking about that, so I won't. I'll just continue with my little story here. But I went into this one doctor's office. I walked through the first door and walked into a waiting room. It had meditation music playing. I didn't even look at the name plaque on the door to see what kind of doctor this was, just because there's so many doctors' offices in these couple buildings that I don't have the time to read every single name. So anyways, I walk in the first door into the waiting room with the meditation music. There's no reception windows anywhere. There's only another door that looks like that you can walk into, and there's nothing on this door. There's no do not enter or anything. And again, I wanted to make sure that I delivered the mail. So I go to this door. I'm standing at it. I went to open the door handle, but my hand's not around, like, it's not touching the handle, but it is around it, like I'm about to touch the handle. But for some reason, I physically couldn't touch the handle. Like something was physically stopping me from touching the handle. And I said, okay, I don't know what's happening here, but I'm not going to touch the handle. And instead, I knocked on the door. And even knocking on the door, I felt very awkward doing that. So then it took a second for somebody to come open the door. And somebody opened the door, and I got like a glimpse of inside this office. And it was like a scene from the movies when somebody's in a therapist's office, like how glamorous the therapist's office always look. And there was somebody sitting there, like a patient having a session. And I just said to myself, I have no idea what stopped me from opening this door, but I appreciate it so much because, for one, as somebody who's received therapy before, I would feel so awkward and interrupted if somebody walked into my therapy session. Because when you're in therapy, you're in the moment and you're letting it all out, or at least you should be. You're letting it all out. You feel completely comfortable with the person, the therapist, the doctor that you're talking to. And then if you're interrupted in that mindset or that process, you might not be able to get back to that comfortable spot that you're in. So I am so very thankful that I did not walk into that office, and I have no idea what stopped me, but I appreciate it and I thank you. And I hope that I continue to get information or warnings like that again in my future. And I did get another sort of message warning that very same day. So a little bit later on that day, I was delivering mail again, and it's like a hide and seek game with the mailboxes. I don't know why people feel the need to put their mailboxes in the most elaborate spots. Like, there should be a mandatory position for the mailbox, especially if you don't deliver mail to the same route every single day and you're doing a different route every single day. It's like hide and seek. I'm playing hide and seek on many different days of my job with a mailbox. So Sometimes they're at the bottom of the stairs, the top of the stairs, the side of the house, the back of the house. They're just everywhere. So I walked up 2 stairs, and this house had, I think, 4 or 5 stairs to go up. So on the second stair, my inner voice said, "No, stop, not that far." And I'm like, why? Who is talking to me right now? Like, what is happening? So I looked to my right, and the mailbox was right there. I didn't even have to walk up those 2 stairs. And I thank my inner voice for saying that, because it is a lot of stairs some days on some of the routes, and it is very strenuous and very tiring. So I thank my inner voice for saving me those few stairs. But it's just really interesting that these things are happening, and I find it, I'm really trying to understand it, and I'm really trying to embrace it, and I'm trying to have more of these situations happen. And I know some people might say, "Oh, you're crazy," or whatever they might say, like the non-believers, but there's a lot of believers out there, and I'm hoping that my podcast reach as many believers as possible. I know I have a couple listeners that I've had conversations with, and I really appreciate the conversations that we've had and the time that they've taken to, have those conversations with me and give their insight or their tips and knowledge that they have. So this podcast will reach millions of viewers and believers. But for those non-believers, I just want to let you know I'm not crazy. Not fully anyways. I mean, I think we're all a little crazy in different ways, but I don't need like psychiatric help if that's what you non-believers are thinking. I'm going through a spiritual journey that's opening up a plethora of doors to many different realms or dimensions, or whatever it may be. I'm trying to learn all this and embrace it and allow more of it to happen. So those are my interesting inner voice intuition situations that happened. There's one more thing I want to talk about here, and it's my dream cards. So I've been reading a dream card or pulling a dream card for almost every episode except for my first episode, because I didn't get the dream cards until after that episode. Now, at the same time, I had bought a couple of other different books that I started reading, and I focused my attention on those books rather than the book that came with the dream card. There's I think 5 or 6 pages before the dream cards, like the meanings of the dream cards. I took the time this morning to actually read it, and I have been reading the dream cards wrong this whole entire time. Not the dream cards themselves. So the dream reading cards came with oracle cards as well. So you are supposed to pull a dream card that relates to your dream and then kind of decipher what your dream means to you. And then once you know the meaning of your dream, you're supposed to pull an oracle card. So you shuffle the cards and kind of ask the cards, what is this dream trying to tell me, or whatnot. Even if you don't know the meaning of the dream, you can still do this with the oracle cards. So going forward, I will be doing this. And I did do that after I recorded my last episode, the Winding Stairwell episode, which was the same day for me. I don't know if you guys are listening to these episodes the same day or not, but I did do that. I shuffled the cards and kind of ask the cards, what is this dream trying to tell me? Or what do I need to know about this dream? And I ended up pulling, I'm just getting it here, the prosperity card. Now, I've read the meaning of this already, And I don't necessarily think that this meaning relates to the dream. I think my subconscious mind was overpowering what my conscious mind was asking, because once I read this card, many of you will know what I mean. So the card I pulled again is prosperity, and it says, if your thought is a rose, you are a rose garden. You are ready for abundance to flow into your life. It can be in the form of material wealth, opportunities, ambitions, or good fortune. There is only one downside to this, your attitude. In the law of attraction, prosperity can only be yours if you believe it is yours already. Have you sown the seeds so that you can harvest? You need to believe, first of all, that you deserve it, then take action. This is not the right time to be passively lying back and waiting for those things that you want to fall into your lap. They are within your reach, but you must work at attracting them into your life. The universal law says that you must give to receive. The more you give of yourself, your time, your expertise, your charity, your goodwill, the more you will receive. It's a two-way street. Focus on what you have and your gratitude for those things. Abundance will soon grow once you begin to manifest what you want and act as if you already have that. Being a victim of any sort will keep you in a cycle of poverty, whether it's a financial situation or a scarcity mentality. Do not think that self-worth is measured by what you own. Abundance is about how you share your love and time, and how authentically you live your life. Both the rich and the poor share nature's boundless abundance. It is up to you to say yes to the universe. So, some of you, and I know my one friend who's listening to this episode, is going to say, I told you so, but see, things are falling into place, and you are getting the messages that you need to hear. Because on my previous episodes, I've talked about not feeling like I'm giving enough back, especially with both my jobs. And I need to find something where I feel fulfilled that I am giving back. And I did discuss with my one friend something that I kind of want to do. And I am going to reach out to somebody I know and ask them for some advice to move into that position, even if it's volunteer work for a little while. But the universe is giving me all the information that I need, little bits at a time. And there is a purpose for that, because you are only getting information when you are ready for it. And this whole entire journey, I've been getting little bits of information along the way and signs from the universe and answers. And I will continue to listen to the universe, and I will continue to tune into my inner voice and listen to myself more and tell myself that I am worth everything that I desire, and I will obtain that, and I will put the work in to obtain that. And everything, again, is happening at the time that it should happen. So that is my recap and my open talk episode. I don't think I have anything else that I'd like to talk about. I've been talking for quite some time now. But until next time, which my next episode is pretty interesting episode. It's a pretty long dream. So I think my next episode is really only going to focus on that specific dream and the dream reading cards and the oracle cards now that I've learned that I've been doing this wrong and needed to add an extra step. Until next time, please continue to follow me. And if you're not already doing so, I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Thank you guys all so much for your time. If you have any comments or questions about this episode or anything I've talked about on this episode or even previous episodes, please do not hesitate to message me on my social media. Dear Dream Diary podcast on Instagram. Thank you all again so much for your time. Until next time, I hope you all have sweet dreams.